I'd like to invite to the podium Jaime Bustillo Gálvez, who is the head of strategic planning for the Port of Melilla, Spain. Yeah, close pronunciations. Yeah, we look forward to your presentation. The green moves forward.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Piang for organizing the event, and thank you, of course, for the invitation. I'm the last obstacle between you and the food, so I'm trying to be fast and go straight to the point. A lot of things that I was planning to say in my presentation has been said and better said than what I am able to do, and so it's going to be more easy for me to make it. So we are talking these days about ports, CO2 emissions, and always we see that more frequently we see that the ports are struggling with the space. They are surrounded by cities normally, and we need to develop our job taking into account that we don't have possibilities to spend into the soil. We need to look forward. So we made this project in Melilla, thanks to the support of the European Union, because they financed that project, which was named Nereidas. And this project demonstrated that using the blue carbon ideas, this sequestration can be deployed in an efficient way. So the idea behind the project was that we can make CO2 capture through working with living organisms. That organisms, we are going to talk about a little bit about them, transform the CO2 in gaseous state into calcium carbonate, which is to mineralize it. Of course, when we mineralize it, this CO2 escapes from the living CO2 circle. So it is transformed from gas into soil, into roots of the plants, into skeleton of the algae, and there it is not going to go back to the atmosphere. So that's why the mangroves and the species that we were told before are so effective, because they are not only transforming in living body, but it mineralizes. So this is one of the main reasons for the efficiency. Also, we are going to use free public spaces, and we don't need to work inland. As we are going to see later, it's important to have an economic balance for the project. This is one of the species. This is Elisolandia elongata. It's none of the species we talked before, because this is an alga, and this alga needs the CO2 to produce the carbonatum calcium as a structure to live in. So we are not we are using a cheap tool. We are using spaces that we are not using, and this techniques captures 10 times the CO2 that we could capture in a normal land technique. Oof. This is the CO2 abatement curve, in which this curve was defined for a country. And here you can see the different techniques that you can use related with the cost that you are going to spend in that techniques, and with the effective of the technique. So in the X you see the potential of CO2 capture, and in the I and the Y you see the cost of economies you can make with the techniques. So at the beginning the first technique you can use are those that reduce your cost and at the same time produce a CO2 reduction. And as long as you are going forward in the curve, you at the end you have very expensive but also efficient measures. Where are we? We are here. Yeah. Of course, every different industry, a port can't step into all of these techniques. Every industry, shipper or power station, only have a number of these. But in a global view, we are working in this part. So they cost, they are not free, but yeah, they are cheap and they are efficient. Well, this is the other species we work with, which is Thymodocea nodosa. It's a Mediterranean seagrass, but you can find it all around the world. It's very common. These are the seeds. We planted the seeds in laboratorium. We have a huge number of success in the reproduction process. And then, after a little treatment, we plant it in the soil in our port. These structures are made with a special concrete, which in the past of 4 or 5 years disappears and it transforms in sand. The only object for these blocks of concrete are to protect the young seeds, the young plants from currents or waves or other physical risk. This is the final situation. The seagrass has been restored in Melilla. This is the other plant, the Lysolandia elongata, the algae, in the very spectacular situation. This plant this algae lives in the intertidal part of the coast. They are not in the seabed. So as you can see, we have been working in the seabed and in the intertidal part of the port. This is the last technique we use in the biological side, which are using that kind of different, we tried different methods of plugs, of printing, or including splashing the concrete in the rocks, trying to create a good place for the biofilm you see here. And in this biofilm, micro mollusks are living, and they are also capturing CO2 for the benefit of the project. Another view of the Lysolandia. If we could, this is the port of Melilla. It's surrounded all around by Morocco, and to have a graphic idea of the potential of the technique, in red are the areas treated by Lysolandia elongata, the red one, and in green are marked the areas of potential use of the Thymodocea nodosa. If we would try to achieve the same impact in inland works through forest or something else, this is the difference. One part are affordable, and the money there, we are not competing with other uses for the soil. We are using free spaces. And we are a public authority, so we can do it. And not a private enterprise can do that. Well, beside that, we needed to take care of the plantation, so we deployed an early warning system using buoys. You see the two blue dots in the photograph that are continuously measuring the 6. These are one of the buoys. You see there measuring temperature, turbidity, chlorophyll, salinity, pH, and oxygen diluted in the water. These are the parameters that biological guys define for us, and with that we receive an alarm time before some of the parameters are off of the, likewise we can have an idea of what kind of weather we are going to have in 1 week or one month. More or less the same mechanism. We can have an early warning and be able to deploy countermeasures if they can be taken. Besides the voice, the system had the potential. We didn't need to use it because our scale was not so big, but the system were able to use public data and satellite images to analyze and to have information for the system. These are the open water buoys. So we are not using any technical, very difficult or expensive techniques. Comparatively, as you have said, I've seen before in the abatement coast, are not expensive techniques. We can share the space with other users. We have been watching before the turbine wine. And as long as you need more space, it depends on the species and the configuration of your coast, but the potential is very high. And of course, we have indirect benefits. In this seagrass improves the fisheries surrounding them because it allows species to grow. The quality of the waters are better. You can promote the diving around you. The losses of beaches are contained because the sand doesn't move so easily from one time to other, and reduce to some extent the needs of dredging because it blocks the sand. So, if we are already managing the environment, now we are talking about a little increase. And then our management environmental systems have achieved visibility, and we think that inside them there is a tool for competitiveness. It's no need. Well, the idea is to explain you how we do think that having a good potential for CO2 capturation in front of your coast, how can you translate it in competitivity? So this is an idea of mine. It's the Port of Algeciras is a big one. So if the port authority can play that role to lead a group of tenants, to coordinate them, preparing, having the permits, deciding the best biological strategy, because they can work in the breakwaters using the red species or using the seabed, using the Seminothea or whatever. This had to be studied. And they can share the expenses, they can share the CO2 capture, and they can promote the official certification of that capture. This is the idea. So if you have a potential in your coast, you can translate it in competitivity for your tenants, because that measures, but we have seen that are cheap, are very difficult for them to achieve them, because for them it's very difficult to have permits to have a particular benefit of that. But in this plan we see that there is an idea that can be improved and that can be worth of think about a little more of this. And we produce a protocol, full-scale protocol, taking all the steps we made during the project implementation. And as you can see, we put an idea of how much time it takes to us, and we think that it will take to other people. And for giving you some numbers, the full-scale deployment I draw in my picture before, the whole coast of Melilla, should cost about 1.2 million euros to deploy it. And it would mean to reduce to zero the CO2 emissions of the Port of Melilla. So, For us, it's a new normal in our port deployment. We should think of this and see which are our potential. And these are the partners of the project. And of course, you are invited to know more. Ask me there.